Greetings, Rigil Agateiades here, and today we're once again on one of the mobile suits buffed in the latest 30 mobile suit adjustment patch. Today's mobile suit wasn't as bad in the first place as the Doven Wolf last week, but despite having a much shorter list of buffs, the synergy between them are worth making a whole video on. This is the mobile suit that was really good at taking shots, but never seemed to do much other than that. The 550 cost general type, Zaku III. But before we get to the buffs, they're not the only thing being changed this patch. Along with the 30 mobile suit adjustments are map changes like these, cutting off the notoriously long sightlines here on Deserted City. Whether they work or not is up to you, but I'm sure you'd agree that they stick out like a sore thumb. Similar changes are made to canyons, city ruins, and military port, and I'll cover them when I come across one. Good news for you, they don't all look so misplaced. Okay, back to the Zaku III, and as you can see, is quite a tough nut. Covered with special buffers and with good defense all round, surviving blow after blow in situations like these were never a problem for this Zaku on steroids. Together with emergency evasions, the Zaku III was quite literally the textbook example for a frontline general type. And surprisingly, it can even do a fair share of damage if you manage to get it into melee range. With 2 melee weapons, good combo multiplier, and a 200% down attack multiplier on the beam bayonet, the Zaku III can hit hard on enemies with weaker melee defense. The problem is just, how on earth are we getting there? Born in a time where having maneuver armor plus emergency evasion was already very good, that was the Zaku III's plan long ago, but unfortunately, that doesn't get you very far in 2025. With only maneuver armor level 1 and nothing else to reduce staggers, 100% stagger accumulation is so easy to get now that you'll get stopped in less than a second. You can be as tough as you can be, but what good are you if you can't do any damage? So, what buffs did the Zaku III get? First of all, we have the addition of the skill Immobile Fire System. What this skill does is it negates normal staggers on the Zaku III when using a weapon that has to be fired standing still, which is the torso beam launcher in this case. While that sounds like an extremely short window, this skill is more powerful than it sounds. Not only does it make it safer for us in ranged fights, but by deliberately using it at the same time as an enemy using a normal stagger, we can also turn the situation from a neutral state to a one-sided advantage. And who said that it only works in an extremely short window? With the new buffs is the new function Limiter Release, changing the torso beam launcher from firing a single instant stagger to 4 at once. Not only do we extend the stagger reduction from Immobile Fire System 4 times, but we also get burst damage like never before. Doing 900 damage per shot and firing 2 shots at once, that's 7,200 in one body. Eye on the radar and we catch the raid type going for a plant, he did not survive for very long. The damage and stagger reduction are honestly enough to make this a good weapon already, but there's actually even more to them. Not only is every single shot in the volley an instant stagger on their own, but they also come with 20% stagger accumulation. That's 160 on full hit! And to top it all off is how often you can use them. Unlike the normal heat gauges, once you activate Limiter Release, what you get instead is a 10-second timer, and you can use it as many times as you like in those 10 seconds. If you manage to get a good undisturbed spot, you can actually squeeze 3 volleys in before the timer goes off, getting you 21,000 damage in total. Of course, after the 10-second timer runs out, the torso beam launchers go on overheat, but even that actually isn't too much of a problem. With the new buffs, the overheat cooldown of this weapon is dramatically reduced from 18 seconds to 12 seconds only, making it a really reasonable cooldown. This of course doesn't just benefit the torso beam launchers after using Limiter Release, but it also helps it in normal firing mode. By overheating them on purpose with the normal firing mode, you can squeeze out an extra instant stagger without too much consequence, especially useful when you need the stagger reduction with a mobile fire system. That's some top-notch synergy between the two buffs. But speaking of synergy, that's not the end of the story yet. With this patch, the Zaku III is also given damage control at level 1, taking the amount of stagger accumulation needed to stop the Zaku III to 130%. Together with maneuver armor or immobile fire system, that's a huge hurdle for the enemy to overcome. Mass-produced Zeta Gundam coming straight our way, but he's no match to our increased stagger accumulation. Probably even better if we use the limiter release though, considering how low we got him down to, that might even be lethal damage. Just one last buff this patch, and that's the increase in the level of the special leg buffers, increasing the damage reduction to 25%. Considering the size of these feet, that's more than welcome. If you only look at the size of each buff, they're not big, but when you consider how well they work together, you'll realize the Zaku III just got significantly better. Immobile fire system is good, but with the increased length using limiter release, that's a whole new fighting style. Damage control then bolsters this playstyle, while also putting the maneuver armor up to speed. The combination of buffs resulted in this general type that can do pretty much anything. It can take the shots for the team, it can do a great share of damage in melee range with the 2 melee weapons, and it can even put a stop to pretty much anyone with the new limiter release. That's as great as I thought it can be, but then just last week, it got buffed again on console. I'll save the details for next time. Spoilers, they're nailing that synergy again. Final 30 seconds and we just have to defend this last wave. With the newly gained stopping power of the Zaku III, that shouldn't be difficult. First enemy to appear is the raid type with a ton of rage. Full hit on the limiter release and that's half his health gone. Evasion gets us out of the stagger and we fire the second volley, so close to getting him in one fell swoop. And of course, with the durability of this mobile suit, we survive even after getting hit by a strong stagger. That was the newly buffed Zaku III, and honestly, I wouldn't believe you earlier if you told me that it can now top the damage chart. With the perfect synergy between immobile fire system, damage control, and the new limiter release, the Zaku III just gained a brand new strength. Stopping anyone with the 160% stagger while being unstoppable itself, this new weapon is a fresh but welcome approach to this 4-year-old mobile suit. Together with its signature lack of weaknesses, is as reliable as a frontline general type can get. That's it for me today. Bandai, please put military report on rated now that you've reworked it, and the latest.